Game developer Akira prepares to shut down the servers of his creation, the RPG Infinity game, once it hits midnight. He then bids goodbye to the main character, Demon Lord Hakuto Kudo, and wipes out the game. However, Akira finds himself in the body of Kudo and is transported to the realm of his game. To make sure he is not dreaming, he activates the administrator mode of the game and finds out that it is different from his Infinity game. As he's thinking of what to do, a disheveled girl comes out of the bushes and tells him he has to flee. Just then, a gigantic demon called Griol appears. It attacks Kudo, but the Demon Lord retaliates, causing the low-rate monster to be thrown in the air. He then contemplates that he doesn't know the existence of the beast and the girl in the game. He introduces himself to the girl, and the girl names herself Aku. She tells him that they are in the kingdom of the Holy Light, where people worship the cherub. The great cherub had sealed the monster they encountered in the past, but was able to free itself. She also elaborates that they are governed by 3 holy maidens, holy knights, and an organization called the Holy Church. Hearing this, our hero wonders why he was summoned to the fantasy game and deduces that Kudo was the one summoned in the game, and he was just dragged along. Looking at the disheveled girl, Kudo tells her to take a bath in the lake and just holler if she is finished. As Aku plays in the water, she wonders who Kudo is and fears that he likes her clean before serving her dinner. Meanwhile, Kudo activates the administrator and gets a fresh towel and soap for Aku to clean herself thoroughly. Alone, Kudo sees his skill points dropping and wonders how he will going to build points to gain more abilities. Done with bathing, Aku gives him back the cleaning items and thanks him for his kindness. Kudo then asks her if there are many monsters around, like the Griol, thinking of defeating many to gain his depleting skill points. Aku denies this, saying that if Griols are rampant in the kingdom, it will turn into shambles. Kudo can't believe this, as the creature is pretty weak. He then asks for Griol's den to investigate more. The girl informs him that the Griols used to be sealed at the wishing shrine in another part of the forest. He requests that she lead him to the wishing shrine, to which she agrees. However, he sees her injury and limp leg and offers to carry her on their journey. She declines the offer, as she doesn't want him to get dirty. Kudo insists, telling her their journey will be faster this way as well. He is surprised when the girl suddenly cries. She tells him that she has been regarded as a nuisance, and the village appoints her to do all the dirty work. They called her filthy, finally cast her out, and sacrificed her to the Griol. The Demon Lord tells her that she did an important task for the village and carries her. He points out that he won't get dirty just by touching her, and they can always wash themselves. While on their way, she tells him that the cherub was able to seal the Griol by using the shrine's power, and according to the legend, it can grant the wishes of those who visit. Finally, they arrive at the wishing shrine. Upon entering, Kudo encounters decaying dead bodies and is greeted by the master of the shrine, called Idol. The idol tells him that it has granted many wishes, and as its last, it will grant Kudo's wish. Kudo wishes to return to his word. However, the creature tells him that the dead people around him summoned him, and she can't defy a wish that was made. Instead, the idol gives him a powerful ring as her last visitor. Kudo is annoyed, as he doesn't want to wear a useless skull ring. She hopes that his wish will come true and turn into dust after years of granting the wicked wishes of humans. He exits the shrine and asks Aku if there are large cities nearby. She tells him about the Holy Land, and he requests that she draw a map for him. Hearing this, Aku asks to come with him on his journey, as she doesn't have a place she can go home to. Kudo contemplates this and deems that it will be helpful for him to travel with someone from the strange world. After he agrees, they go to her village to get some of her belongings. He carries her again and leads her to her withered village. Upon arriving, Kudo turns himself invincible and communicates with Aku as a voice inside her head. Just then, the villagers bully Aku and throw rocks at her. Enraged, Kudo tries to defend the girl, but his ring glows, and a voice tells him that he can dispose of anyone for him. The ring then calls him the root of all evil, as he created a game that purged countless lives. Somehow, the spirit of Akira appears and makes the skull ring stop talking. Kudo then stands up for Aku and tells her to get her belongings. The villagers are surprised that the Demon Lord is in front of them, and he calls the girl a plague. Kudo snaps and burns one of the huts to retaliate. The two escape, and Aku thanks the Demon Lord for saving her. They then continue their journey to the holy capital. One of the holy maidens, Luna, is on her way to see the Demon Lord and annihilates the man by herself, without her other sisters. Meanwhile, A bandit reports to the leader of the moles that the maiden is approaching their location with her troops. The man named Wengoal smiles, wondering if she will finally subjugate them. However, the lackey tells him that it doesn't seem that they are the target of Luna. Meanwhile, after trekking up a rocky mountain, Kudo decides they should take a rest and camp out for the night. He then summons items from his darkness portal and creates a base for them to sleep on. She thanks the demon lord for the space and finds that there is a bathroom inside where she can take a bath. While lying on the bed, Kudo considers his return to his world and hopes to find answers in the holy capital. He wonders if he still has a job to go back to. After taking a bath, Aku lies down on Kudo's bed, making him uncomfortable with the idea of them sleeping together. The next day, Wengoal and his bandit crew plan to ambush the Holy Maiden on a rocky road, but instead, they encounter Kudo and Aku. Despite suspecting a possible trap for Luna's ambush, the bandit leader decides to attack. They unleash a barrage of arrows, but Kudo easily blocks them with his assault defensive barrier, which automatically protects him from enemies below level 30. The bandits emerge from hiding and surround the duo. Wengoal introduces himself, and Kudo notices his striking resemblance to his manager, Aoki, apologizing for missing work. Wengoal accuses Kudo of confusing him to distract him from the fight. The bandit leader then insults Kudo, who takes offense. Amid their argument, a bandit tries to attack Kudo, only to be swiftly defeated by the demon lord. Suddenly, Luna arrives, making the bandits run off. She doesn't let the bandits escape, and she attacks them with her holy power. Kudo tries to protect Aku from the assault and notices that his assault barrier is never activated, meaning the girl is at her maximum level. He demands an apology from her for attacking out of nowhere. Realizing that he doesn't know who she is, she introduces herself as Luna, one of the 3 holy maidens. By her command, the knights charge toward the Kudo, but he easily activates his barrier. He then grabs the holy maiden and smacks her across the back to teach her a lesson. Kudo and Aku continue their journey with Luna's money in the man's hand. Meanwhile, the holy maiden's entourage follows behind, and Luna is furious. The duo finally arrives at the Kingdom of Holy Light. They enter the marketplace and decide to buy random stuff they will need on their journey. The two book a room at a nice hotel, and Aku tries to stop him as it will cost them a gold coin. She accidentally calls him the Demon Lord, and Kudo reminds her through telepathy that she must address him as an older brother in public to avoid attention. Upon entering the room, Kudo is pleased that it looks as luxurious as it should be. He then tells the girl they should have dinner, but leads her to a boutique first to buy her a change of clothes. Aku then emerges from the dressing room, resembling a princess with her attire. As Kudo observes her closely, he notices she has different colored eyes. Delighted with how adorable she looks, Kudo orders every outfit in the boutique that suits her, much to the manager's joy. The two then head to a fancy restaurant, where curious whispers from other diners speculate about their identities. Just then, Luna barges in and berates the man for stealing her money. To stop her from causing a ruckus, Kudo tells her to eat with them and threatens to discipline her again. Remembering what happened earlier, Luna immediately sits with them. He orders her food, which she devours immediately. While walking on the way back to the inn, Kudo carries Aku as he sees her limping. Back in the hotel, Luna confronts him, saying she doesn't have any place to stay because he got her money. With Aku's request, he gives the maiden the remaining amount of her money and lets her stay in their room for the night. Elsewhere, another holy maiden is on her way to the city. While inside the bathtub, Luna tells Aku to treat her like an older sister. Aku is delighted, but asks if it is okay to speak to a holy maiden that way. However, Luna assures her that they're close enough now that they see each other unclothed. Meanwhile, in the living room, Kudo gazes at a tiara, then stashes it into a portal. He reflects on the fact that in this world, he can store an unlimited number of items, unlike in the Infinity game, where he's restricted to 10 at a time. Just then, the two girls walk out of the bathroom, and he immediately asks Luna everything she knows about the cherub. She tells him that the cherub died after sealing the Griol because it used up all its power. However, the Kingdom of Holy Light still has the Ophan and Seraph, who serve to guide the people. Meanwhile, the deranged Holy Maiden and her horsemen are still riding to reach the city of Yahoo. She swears to drag Luna home, as she believes that she only wants attention and doesn't believe that a demon lord exists. One of her horsemen, Mount Fuji, tells the maiden that the Griol was killed, and people speculate that it was the demon lord. Upon hearing this, She realizes that her younger sister is withholding information from her. Meanwhile, Kudo plans to gather information throughout the holy city, but visits an antique shop first. In need of funds, he exchanges a prized tea bowl used for serving distinguished guests. The fine arts dealer, Nandan, is thoroughly impressed with the bowl and inquires about its price. Kudo states he wants a giant gold coin in exchange, which shocks Nandan. The elderly man then shares rumors he's heard about him being a descendant of royal lineage, prompting Kudo to chuckle. Before finalizing the transaction, he insists that Nandan agree to exchange the bowl for only 5 gold coins, leaving the owner even more astonished. Outside, Kudo silently rejoices as the tea bowl costs nothing in the infinity game, but unexpectedly gives him a heap of money. While thinking of treating Luna and Aku for dinner, he hears a woman scream for Luna. Elsewhere, a group of Satanists believe they failed to summon the Demon Lord. However, their leader notes that if it resulted in the Holy Maidens taking action, their efforts were done in vain. He then reiterates to his followers that they need to eradicate the Holy Maidens. Back in the inn, the deranged queen is outside with her men, demanding for her sister to come out. She also screams for the Demon Lord to come out if he's present. Just then, Luna comes out and tells her sister that there is truly a Demon Lord who is obsessed with her behind. Suddenly, the Satanists emerge with the intent to kill the Holy Maidens, casting spells of fire and ice. The Killer Queen retrieves her sword from Fuji and uses it to deflect the Satanists' assault. Kudo then notices the Satanists' attire, recognizing it as identical to the clothing worn by the bodies in the Wishing Shrine. With ease, the 2 maidens and the other men engage in combat against the Satanists. However, the tide shifts when one of the Satanists, Walker, releases the shadow creature Hades from a chest. It instantly kills the soldiers in its path and weakens the maidens upon contact with its dark shadow, stripping them of their divine protection. As the Satanists are about to shoot their arrows, Fuji faces the arrows and sacrifices himself to protect them. The shadow then slowly crawls to Kudo, and the skull ring talks to Kudo, advising him to toss a grenade to kill everyone. Kudo is hesitant, as he knows that following through will also harm the maidens. However, the ring argues that since they are already attempting to kill the Demon Lord, they might as well proceed. The ring then weakens Kudo to the point where he cannot move. With the shadow creature closing in on him, Kudo urgently needs to summon something. The game interface indicates that Kudo cannot control the actions of the character he must transform into. Left with no other option, he selects the transformation. A bright white light emerges, causing the shadow creature to vanish. In its place stands a white-haired man clad in all-white attire, featuring a dragon motif on his jacket. Confused about his surroundings, the man spots the Satanists mistreating women and children, prompting him to launch a counterattack. With a single punch, he defeats several members. For his final move, he strikes the air with such force that it summons a dragon, swiftly ending the fight. Meanwhile, the Killer Maiden is impressed by the man and falls for him. Out of goodwill, he tells her to inform him if bad men mess with her again, and he'll come to rescue her. The deranged maiden falls even more and asks for his name. The man introduces himself as Zero. After making sure that Killer and the others are okay, he leaves. Elsewhere, the leader of the Satanists is able to run away with Hades and ponders why a dragonkin showed up. Aku runs into Kudo, who seems out of it. She then tells him that Luna and others encountered a dragonkin who defeated the Satanists. Ashamed of Zero, Kudo isn't able to tell Aku they are the same person and silently berates himself for making such a lame character. In a tavern, the witch Kika and the swordswoman Mikan are checking a bulletin board for potential quests. They come across a mission to eliminate sandwolves and decide to take it on. They notice a bounty poster for Kudo as the Demon Lord, sparking Kika's interest. While on their journey in a carriage, Kudo asks Luna about her soldiers. Luna replies that she doesn't require them since Kudo serves as her bodyguard. This offends Kudo, who disagrees with being her servant. As the two banter, Aku smiles happily, enjoying being part of a lively group about to embark on an adventure. Kudo, Aku, and Luna ride in a horse carriage along a desert road. Kudo offers Luna regular clothing, so she won't attract attention. Although Luna is initially hesitant, Aku thinks she will look great in it, and Luna eventually agrees to wear the outfit. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the desert, Kika and Mikan trudge through strong, sandy winds on their way to exterminate sandwolves for a reward. They hear the growls of a beast, and soon realize they are surrounded by hundreds of sandwolves. Opting not to engage in combat, they choose to flee. Back in the carriage, Luna needs to change her clothes, prompting Kudo to step out of the carriage. Outside, he contemplates how he can earn more skill points. Suddenly, he spots hundreds of sandwolves chasing Kika and Mikan, realizing that this is the opportunity he's been waiting for. As the horde is fast approaching, Kudo activates his barrier and attacks the beasts with his various skills. In the end, he is able to defeat the wolves, impressing everyone with how powerful he is. As the wolves are defeated, he goes back to the carriage and tells the two adventurers to be careful next time. As the carriage drives away, Kika can't help but fantasize about Kudo, after seeing his power as the Demon Lord. Meanwhile, Aku praises the man for his prowess in fighting, and deems that he really isn't an evil person. She plans to stay with him, even if the whole world becomes her enemy. Luna inquires about Kudo's opinion on her new attire. The Demon Lord compliments her appearance, putting the Holy Maiden in a cheerful mood. The group halts at an oasis to allow the horse to drink. Kudo conjures a shelter for them to rest under. He invites the coachman to join them indoors, but the coachman opts to stay outside to tend to the horse. Kudo then checks his administrative privileges and discovers that he has enough skill points to summon the 8 characters he previously had in Infinity Game. After thinking over who to summon, he chooses the genius doctor and scientist named Yuka. He contemplates that she will be useful to invent something that will shield his team against magic. However, he worries about her sadistic nature, thinking that she'll eliminate and dissect people without any mercy. Stealing his resolve, he summons the doctor. Yuka respectfully greets the Demon Lord and thanks him for summoning her. She then wonders where they are, and Kudo explains everything he knows so far, including that they are not in the Infinity Game. Upon hearing the situation, Yuka proposes that they require the Nightless City, which is the most technologically advanced city and the final area in Infinity Game. Despite Yuka's suggestion, Kudo hesitates to construct such a modern fortress in the fantasy world. The doctor wonders what could be the reason that they were summoned to an unknown world and looks forward to finding out the answer with her lord. She then asks what would be the first step for them, and Kudo answers that he wants to upgrade their base to a field hospital. He then forbids her to slay anyone, and she agrees, saying they can't do reckless things while knowing so little about the world. Even though she agrees, Kudo notes to be careful of Yuka, as she's still the feared mad scientist. Kudo introduces Yuka to Luna and Aku, and asks Yuka to examine Aku's injured leg. Yuka's fingers transform into surgical tools, which makes Aku nervous. The doctor also seems a bit eccentric, and asks Aku if she could dress as a boy after their session. Kudo intervenes, reminding Yuka that they don't have time for games, prompting Yuka to switch back to her professional mode. She then administers injections and treats Aku's injured leg, which miraculously heals, scars, and all. Aku attempts to stand, and is amazed to find that she can walk without a limp. She thanks Kudo and Yuka, before joyfully running around the oasis. She initially thinks it's a dream, but Kudo reassures her that it's real, and she can now lead a normal life. Touched, Aku tears up, and the two walk hand in hand around the oasis. Aku then expresses her desire for Kudo to never leave her, to which the man responds that she should save those sentiments for someone she truly likes. Blushing, Aku realizes she may have already found the one. Kudo and Aku return to the base, where Kudo praises Yuka for her excellent work. Somehow, the acknowledgement makes Yuka feel euphoric, and she becomes touched after hearing that the Demon Lord needs her help. She realizes that he has changed for the better, and develops feelings for him. Kika is in the Noma bar, and she can't stop talking about how awe-inspiring and hot the Demon Lord is, despite Mikan repeatedly stopping her from doing so out of annoyance and reservations about trusting the man. At the Satanist base, Walking is talking to his Lord Utopia, the supreme leader of the organization, about his disappointment in their dragonkin back at the city of Yahoo. However, the supreme leader is more worried about the news of the Demon Lord, especially amidst rumors of him slaying their summoned Demon King Griol. He instructs his subordinate to focus on preparing for their next mission. Our group of heroes travels by carriage, and they stumble upon the desolate village of Rabbi. Luna claims that the village is her territory and guides the group around. However, she reveals that the church manages the territory on her behalf. Kudo sees between the lines, and he talks to Luna telepathically about his suspicions that the church is the actual lord of the place, and that they are only using the gullible Luna as their figurehead. Amid their exploration, he asks the Holy Maiden's permission, proposing the construction of a hospital and hot spring in the area. The church appointee, who is governing the land, sees Luna and the others. On his first sight of Kudo, he is shocked since he recognized him as the evil demon lord from all the wanted posters. Luna tells him that he is his servant. Making the appointee calm down, Kudo talks to the man and asserts that they should be the ones in charge of the town from now on. The appointee feels uncomfortable about his demand and says that he should discuss it with his church superiors first. The demon lord shows how suspicious he is of his statement, since he is implying that Luna is not the rightful lord of the territory. Back into a corner without any excuses, the appointee leaves the village with his horse and carriage, leaving the heroes behind to their own devices. Meanwhile, the rabbit women, called bunnies, are farming carrots on the land. They are having a hard time maintaining their crops, so the two bunnies, Kian and Momo, complain about the lack of water, which makes it all the harder to plant. Kudo asks for them, and so the two bunnies guide the heroes to the dry well. They explore inside the well, which confirms that they truly have no water. Kudo summons the Infinity Game low-level object, Pulley Wheel. He attaches the pulley wheel to the well and instructs Aku to use it. Miraculously, water drew from the well with every turn of the wheel, impressing everyone, especially since the water seemed to never end, no matter how many times they used it. Kudo warns the bunnies of the potential conflicts over a wheel that can create infinite water, leading Kian and Momo to vow their silence over its existence. The Demon Lord then gives Infinity Game fertilizer to the bunnies, leading them to cheer. Luna tells him that he is a good person for doing so much charity. However, the man tells her that his motives are solely for future business opportunities, since the bunnies can become employees for him someday. In the capital, city officials debate Luna's return to governing the Rabbi. The elder Holy Maiden sits in the head chair. She expresses her worry over her sister Luna's alliance with the Demon Lord, while Donya, the head noble, distrusts the man too. Marshall, the head soldier of the capital, urges them to trust in Luna's instincts as a holy maiden and tells Donya that he only hates the Demon Lord since he started a fire in one of his towns. This leads to a heated argument between the two. In the end, Angel decides they should all wait and see what the Demon Lord's character is before making any big moves against the man. After the meeting, Holy Maiden Killer arrives while her sister Angel is alone in the meeting room. Angel asks about Luna and the Demon Lord, but Killer is too distracted by her deep thoughts of Zero to answer her properly. As the woman in love reveals she is carrying her own Zero plush doll, she cannot stop talking about her Zero, rolling her body repeatedly while lying on the ground because she cannot control her overwhelming emotions of love. The elder maiden looks at her, confused and unable to understand what is happening to both Killer and Luna nowadays. At the crowded Noma bar, S-rank adventurers Mink and Organ debate the existence of the creature known as a dragonkin, until Lei, the bar owner, interrupts with news of the new Demon Lord on a wanted poster. Their focus shifts to capturing the Demon Lord, and they leave the bar in a hurry to do so. Mikan and Kika are also in the bar as they look at the two leaving. They ponder if S-rank adventurers like Organ and Mink can even stand a chance against someone as powerful as the Demon Lord. Elsewhere, in an upscale restaurant, Kudo and his friends are about to eat an opulent feast to celebrate Aku's restored leg. While the girls are enjoying their meal, Kudo sets the waiter aside and requests to serve a dessert of his liking. To their delight, Kudo surprises them with an Infinity Game strawberry tart, a delicacy that both Luna and Aku enjoy, especially since they have never seen a food like it before. Amidst their dining experience, Shrimp-Free Butterfly, a renowned socialite, approaches our hero's table to introduce herself to the Demon Lord. Recognizing an opportunity to ally with such an influential figure, Kudo telepathically urges Luna to help him form an alliance with Shrimp-Free. He talks business and proposes to Shrimp-Free that he will make every land in the kingdom feel like paradise. He puts soap on the table, saying it is how he plans to make it all possible. Luna remembers using the product before, and she is so enthusiastic about it that she tells the socialite that it feels like magic on the skin. The socialite looks at the skins of all the ladies at the table and sees how dazzling they all look, so she cannot help but believe that it is true. For proof of the product's effectiveness, Kudo offers the bar of soap on the table as a gift to Shrimp-Free, so she can try it for herself at home. He also brings up the fact that he is planning to open a hot spring in Rabbi, where he proposes that it will be a place where the socialite can revive her skin and her entire body. Despite how unbelievable the proposal is, Kudo promises with full confidence that it will come true. The socialite becomes excited by the prospect, and so gets sold on the hot spring idea. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted by an earthquake. a restaurant staffer comes in to alert everyone that the city is under attack by the Satanists. Kudo and the others go to the roof to see the violent attacks going on in the city. He swiftly takes charge, telling his friends and the others to stay to be safe. He then jumps off the roof, confronting the looming threat head-on by himself. Meanwhile, Mikan and Kika engage the Satanists in a street fight. They can keep them at bay with their fighting prowess at first, but they eventually get overwhelmed by their attacks. Kudo intervenes, saving the two from injury and effortlessly stopping every enemy around. Walking sees his imminent defeat and rejects the notion of dying so much. He cuts his hand with a knife and chants an incantation that summons the colossal demon carnival. The giant devil casts a magic force field around the city, trapping everyone within it. Kudo throws a rock at the devil and insults him, stoking the demon's fury. It charges at our hero, only to get frozen in fear as it feels Kudo's imposing aura. The man's intimidating aura only grows stronger, making Carnival go into a desperate plea for mercy. Despite Carnival's plea, Kudo tosses him high into the sky and exorcises him into ashes with a powerful energy beam. The crowds of the city come to the Demon Lord and rejoice in his victory. Kika gets the chance to go near Kudo and asks for his name. The confused Demon Lord gives her his name, and upon hearing it, her attraction towards the man only grows stronger with every over-the-top reaction of glee, much to the annoyance of her partner. Meanwhile, in the same opulent restaurant as before, Kamiya, the clown, dazzles the patrons with his magician acts. He is secretly contracted by the Satanists to assassinate Luna, and so he seizes his opportunity by going to the hero's table. However, Yuka gets in his way, seemingly unintentionally, as she suggests that she perform magic acts instead of the other way around. Before the clown can react to her proposal, he does not realize that Yuka has already removed the clown's arms, as if they were detachable toy pieces, scaring Kamiya. She then attaches it back on. While the clown is relieved at first, he is scared to find that his arms are attached in the wrong direction. She then returns the arms to their proper order, making the clown a sigh of relief. Yuka interrupts his moment and gets close enough to whisper in the clown's ear that she can smell the poison in his pocket. She threatens Kamiya that she will kill him if she ever sees him again, making the clown internally scream in terror. It turns out that the Satanists' attack on the city rages on, with Killer, Mount Fuji, Marshall, and Mink battling the Satanists and their undead forces in the streets. With the Satanists' defeat imminent, they resort to sacrificing themselves to summon Oruit, the vampiric prince of darkness. Seeing the new demon, the holy maiden angel fortifies the protective barrier she created around the holy castle, slaying many of the Satanists' demons that are within the field along the way. However, Oruit is not deterred, and he unleashes a potent dark magic that challenges the force field's resilience, requiring Angel to unleash every effort she can muster just to maintain the barrier as long as she can. Mink and Killer see Oruit and engage him in battle. The Prince of Darkness proves to be a challenge for the two, and they are barely holding on to keep up with the fight. One of the Satanist girl named Tron arrives to help the devil, weakening Mink and Killer's magic with the help of a shadow creature, leading to the two's eventual defeat in the fight. Witnessing the conflict from afar, Kudo feels annoyed that there is another event that requires his intervention, and is more concerned about him momentarily being captivated by Angel's beauty. Despite this, he transforms into Zero in a flash of light to confront Oruit. Like before, Zero does not know what is going on. He looks at the surroundings and sees that Killer and Mink are on the ground, and so he realizes that Oruit is the bad guy. He approaches the vampiric figure without fear to challenge him to a fight. While the Prince of Darkness belittles the dragon jacket-wearing warrior, he turns out to be no match for the man, who is fighting him with little effort. Desperate to win, Oruit sees Tron in the sky and smiles mischievously. He comes to her and injures her to suck out her blood and make himself more powerful. Tron falls to the ground and gets knocked out cold. In her dream, she remembers when she was still a child, homeless and freezing on a snowy night in the streets. A cloaked Satanist invited her into their organization in her vulnerable state, leaving her no choice but to say yes. Zero wakes her up and fully heals her injury. Oruit sees how powerful the Dragon Man is, and so he turns into a monstrous hybrid of a giant demonic wolf and a bat. Tron is fearful of Oruit's wrath, and so she is reassured by Zero's encouragement to keep smiling no matter what. With a decisive blow, Zero obliterates Oruit into pieces, prompting Angel to deactivate her barrier and restore sunlight to the city. Just as our hero poses for victory with his arms stretched out to the sky, With the Satanists vanquished, the entire city erupts in celebration as they hail Zero as their new hero. Zero turns to Tron, urging her to smile freely now that the danger has passed. Overwhelmed with emotion, Tron embraces her hero as she bursts into tears. The moment gets ruined as Killer joins in the embrace from behind, much to Zero's mild annoyance amidst his trapped state. As the city begins its recovery, Kudo receives a summon from Angel to go to the Holy Castle. As they talk in the Holy Maiden's office, they have their first official meeting. Concerned for her sister Luna, Angel questions Kudo about how they met and the nature of their relationship. He explains that they initially met as adversaries, but eventually developed a mutual bond with each other. However, knowing her sister's personality, she suspects that Luna may be under a spell rather than willingly allied with the Demon Lord. She gets frank and asks if Kudo has any motivation against the kingdom. He avoids a direct response about his motivations, assuring her that actions speak louder than words and inviting her to judge for herself in time. However, this does not comfort the Holy Maiden's distrust. Kudo wants access to the library to research Seraph. Despite her worries, she grants him permission to do so. As Kudo leaves, Angel asks if he truly defeated the Demon King. He confirms that he defeated the Demon King with ease, making the Holy Maiden even more worried that he is a threat. In the halls, Kudo contemplates how beautiful Angel is and likes that she is more sensible than the other Holy Maidens. Reviewing his game stats, he sees that he has enough points to build the hospital and hot spring he planned, as well as instantly teleport to any place he has been before. Aku then sees him by the halls, and they go to each other with affection, like father and daughter. In the library, Kudo finds the lack of substantial information about angels frustrating. He even questions why the demons still exist, if history states that the angels have eradicated them already. Seeing no new answers from all his work, his attention goes to Aku instead. Aku asks Kudo to read her the fairy tale book, Destructive Dog Fido's Great Adventure. He agrees, and reads the tale about a dog named Fido. He angered his people so much when he destroyed half the city that they all chased him away. To make ends meet, the outsider dog became an explorer and delved into the dungeon. One day, Fido saw a slime monster attacking a female dog. He defeated the monster and rescued her, leading to their romance. After many challenges, Fido finally reached the deepest room in the dungeon, where he found rare weapons, armor, and other magic items. He carried it all the way home, and he became a popular dog. While his adopted daughter enjoyed the story, Kudo does not really understand what the tale is really saying. However, he gets an idea out of it, and he questions a library staff member if adventurers really find rare items in dungeons, since he hopes to find something to counter his vulnerability to magic. On their way home, Kudo senses they are being followed and instructs Aku to return home without him. Now that he is alone, he tells his stalker to show themselves. The invisible Tron reveals herself, and she tells Kudo that she knows that he and Zero are one and the same due to her unique sense of sight. Despite Kudo's denial, Tron insists on seeing Zero. Kudo tells her that he will only do so someday if she agrees to work for him, in exchange for using her abilities when needed. Without any reluctance, the little girl agrees. Kudo introduces Tron to Yuka, Aku, and Luna in the inn. Luna harbors suspicions about the girl due to Tron's half-devil heritage. Kudo advises her that she needs to see people more complexly than in black and white, and try to get along with Tron. Luna agrees, albeit reluctantly. Since Kudo wants to teleport to Rabbi, he asks the girls to grab onto him. All of them grab him tightly out of affection. The man is even confused as to why Yuka is holding on to him when she can teleport by herself. The woman gives the excuse that they do not need to waste magic energy if he can teleport for both of them, making the man reluctant to agree. Arriving in Rabbi, Kudo summons the base, now updated with a fully equipped hospital building. He and Yuka explore inside, where everything looks like a modern facility complete with electricity. Kudo wants Yuka to charge the poor as much as they can afford, so they can get as much treatment as they can. At the same time, he wants her to charge the nobles the highest prices possible. Right next to the hospital, Kudo summons a hot spring resort. He explores the luxurious facility and sees that it has multiple types of baths and premium amenities. Realizing he needs a genius to oversee all the operations effectively, Kudo uses his administrator privilege to summon the genius administrator, Isami Tahara, who is immediately puzzled by the unfamiliar world in which he finds himself. The Demon Lord takes him to a resort and explains that they are not in a world where the great empire exists, but are in fact in a fantasy world. Tahara puffs his cigarette and processes the information. He accepts it calmly, but then gets quite unnerved upon hearing that the sadistic Yuka is there as well. Tahara says he is actually happy that there is no great empire, and asks Kudo what his plans are. The kind demon lord says that their first task is managing an impoverished village. Tahara will need to develop the whole town, as well as teach and train the residents. He will also need to negotiate with nobles, secure a business, and manage any trouble. Tahara balks at the heavy workload, but is reassured that he possesses the intellect and capabilities to get the job done. Kudo then gently touches his new companion's arm, but Tahara instantly recoils as he receives an electric jolt from the contact. Kudo wonders if he should ask Yuka for help. Unbeknownst to him, she is actually standing right behind them and calls him out before saying it is nice to see him. Soon, Tron, Luna, and Aku arrive and see the new arrival. Meanwhile, Kudo leaves to spend the night thinking of what to do for Shrimpfree's arrival. The next morning, he returns to the capital and heads to Nandon Manon, the antiques dealer he had previously visited. He shows a music box to the astounded old man, who assumes it must be another item from overseas. Kudo explains that listening to music with this device while sipping wine is a common practice among cultured folk. While the device might be taken for granted in the modern world, in the eyes of the dealer, it is a miraculous device that is able to produce music without any instruments or musicians playing. Kudo adds that its small size makes it convenient to carry anywhere. He asks how much Kudo values it. However, Kudo wants him to value it on his own instead. Nandon panics, thinking that if he values the music box wrong, Kudo might take his business elsewhere. The eager dealer figures that such a special item will attract many interested buyers at an auction, and offers Kudo 15 gold coins, which he fortunately accepts. His next stop is Bingo, the tailor from whom he bought Aku's clothes. He requests that 20 tuxedos and bunny suits be made as quickly as possible and then delivered to Rabbi village. Bingo admires the lewd design of the bunny suit, but also informs his customer that the clothes will take some time to make. However, Kudo is ready to compensate Bingo for the rush order and shows him 5 gold coins, stunning the tailor and his staff. To make matters even sweeter, the generous demon lord says this is only a preliminary payment and that he will add another 2 coins if the work is done quickly. Properly motivated, Bingo promises to fulfill the request and scurries to work. Kudo establishes a food delivery route to the village of Rabbi, allowing regular deliveries of supplies. He still has 3 gold coins left and computes that it should be enough for him for now. He then retreats back to the inn for the night, and while alone, transforms into Zero. He remembers how he used to play as this character so much during the Infinity Games' heyday. He used the character so much that Zero now feels like a partner, and that the heroic feelings of Zero have now become one with his as well. He then reverts back to his demon lord self, noting how he should master transforming back and forth at will between characters. Back in the village, the residents are all having a good time. Some are enjoying a picnic, while others are frolicking at the bathhouse. At the hot spring resort, Tahara is hard at work training some new recruits on how to properly scrub and sweep the floor. He then goes to another room and admires the employees' new bunny suits, and notes that, though he wasn't so sure about the suits at first, the idea has since grown on him. It is especially fitting as the residents are actual bunny people. Kian and Momo are a bit embarrassed, but he says they will get used to it and just shake their butts for extra service. He then instructs them to bow and smile when greeting new customers. 1 week later, Shrimpfree arrives at the newly renovated Rabbi village, along with her grandpa, Commando Sambo. She is greeted by Kudo and Tahara, looking dashing in their new suits. Despite the village already looking like a prosperous town, Kudo tells his guest that the improvements have just begun, and that the village will look even better in 2 months' time. She compliments him, and remembers how pleased she was with the soap. Sambo steps out of the carriage, and the hosts see that his eyes are covered with bandages. Shrimpfree says she brought him along since he doesn't have much time left to live. Sambo tells them that several years ago, a magical beast injured both of his eyes, forcing him to retire. Kudo then recommends he see Yuka, saying she may be able to cure his blindness. Tahara escorts Shrimpfree and the retired officer to Yuka's clinic. The madam is amazed at the modern medical equipment. Yuka proceeds to examine the old man's eyes and sees that she only needs medicine. She drops some eye drops, and he is immediately healed. Sambo is overjoyed, bursting into tears of joy. Shrimpfree is equally pleased and pays Yuka with a holy lambda coin, which is worth 100 gold coins. She gladly pays, adding that having the old man indebted to her is worth much more than the money she gave, so the two of them share a laugh. In a flashback from 10 years earlier, there are two young girls running in the street. One is a 6-year-old Luna, and the other is a demi-human friend named Eagle. They are excitedly rushing to a noble's luxurious mansion to buy some bread. Upon arriving at the gates, Luna states that someday she is going to eat here every day when she wants to. Eagle replies that what Luna said sounds impossible, but she remains undeterred. Just then the gates open, and the nobles shun them, calling them filthy rats, and telling them to use the bridge so that the nobles won't have to look at them. Luna gets angry, declaring that one day when she gets older, she will join the holy church and become a holy maiden. Once she does, she will make the noble regret what he said. Luna asks for the nobles' names, but they do not think they are worthy of it. 2 years later, we see the 8-year-old Luna get accepted at the church to be trained as a holy maiden. Luna says she has a servant that she would like to bring along, but is shocked and saddened to hear that her friend, Eagle, has been executed for being a demi-human. She says that Eagle didn't do anything wrong, but is told that being demi-human is in itself a sin, and she is advised to be careful with whom she associates with. After another 2 years, a 10-year-old Luna officially becomes a holy maiden. She is assigned her province, where bunnies blessed by the cherub live. She sees a young Kion and Momo reminding her of Eagle and making her wonder if things would have been different if she had more authority. Back in the present, Luna's reminiscing about her past is interrupted by Kudo informing her, through telepathic communication, that he and Shrimpfree are approaching the hot springs. He tells Luna to get ready, informing her that she needs to accompany their guest on her bathhouse experience. So she springs forth to greet them at the entrance. Luna leads Madame Shrimpfree inside. She first takes her to the public bath, and the socialite is astounded at the sheer number of pools one can bathe in. Luna shows her the shower, which Shrimpfree thinks is a magic crystal. The madam is given the full service, which includes back rubs, scalp cleansing, and a carbon dioxide bath where Shrimpfree's skin becomes smooth. After that, they go to the herbal bath, leaving her clean, satisfied, and refreshed. The prying Shrimpfree notices that Luna is very much in love with the demon lord as well, leaving the young maiden red with embarrassment. She tells Luna that the young maiden must work on her feminine side in order to crack the demon lord's tough exterior. Desperate to change the subject, Luna quickly takes her to the salt sauna, where you gently rub salt on your skin, which you later wash away with a shower to remove one's excess skin. Shrimpfree is so contented by her experience that she decides to live in Rabbi village. Angel learns of this and is distraught, thinking that Kudo has lured not just her little sister, but now the madam too. Killer, though, is unconcerned about the news. She tells Angel that she saw Luna and could tell that the young girl had fallen in love, and then proceeds to tease her older sister, as the only one yet to find romance. Yuka walks in on Tahara, who is plotting the future development of the village on a map. He mentions that he already has permission from the chief for the changes he is making, and that he plans to divide the town into a medical section, a business section, a commoner section, and a bunny section. He adds that he has noticed a change in Yuka, as she no longer seems interested in young boys, but solely in the chief. She confirms this, saying he is all she thinks of lately. He then tells her the expenses will be paid using her holy coin, and she is pleased that her work came in handy. She suggests he also ask the madam for her opinion about the changes, but he flat out refuses, saying he is not going to let some noble decide what they do with their own territory. She apologizes for her remark. She then mentions that she trusts Kudo, as she can feel the presence of God within him, causing Tahara to burst into laughter at her crazy talk. Later at the clinic, Yuka gives a shirtless Kudo a checkup, but listening to his breathing with the stethoscope soon turns into outright fondling as she touches him and pushes him with his body, causing him to abruptly leave. Later that evening, everyone feasts while Kudo bathes. After bathing, Aku goes to sleep with Kudo. Luna then barges into the room, and seeing them there, she makes her own excuse to sleep with him beside his bed too, saying she has no choice. She moves her body to his hand and then accuses him of touching her. She says she must thus place his hand on her pillow as punishment. She then puts his arm under her head and lies on it with a smile. Kudo leaves a note for Luna and Aku, telling them not to look for him as he is heading to the capital, and that he will be back by nightfall. We then see him casually walking on the streets of the capital as he thinks of how nice it is to have some freedom to explore on his own. Behind him, are Mikan and Kika. Kika shares that she dreamed of the Demon Lord and that she woke up with her behind feeling like it was on fire. As fate itself had intervened, she sees Kudo himself in front of her. She dashes to him without a second thought, with Mikan following. They are pleased to see him, but he can't remember their names. He tells them about Rabbi Village and that he is in the city to ask for information at the Adventurers Guild regarding the dungeons up north. Kika immediately replies that she will be much more helpful than the guild, as she knows more about that place, and then insists on inviting Kudo to his favorite tavern, Noma Bar. He remembers the delicious drinks he had there, and suddenly filled with cravings, agrees to go there. They walk with Mikan in front, and Kika is glued to his side, grabbing his arm like her life depends on it. Upon arriving, everyone immediately recognizes the Demon Lord and offers to buy him a drink in gratitude for defeating the devil, Carnival. The three of them take a seat, and the owner places their drinks on the table. Kika grabs Kudo's mug and then sits on his lap, saying she will help him drink. This makes him uncomfortable, and he insists on drinking on his own. After he is done, Kika grabs his mug and drinks from it as well in order to enjoy an indirect kiss. The bar owner then gives them some delicious food in the house. Kudo, though, keeps getting bothered by Kika's perverse behavior, like her licking the chopsticks that he just used. He decides to get to business and tells them that he is unfamiliar with the land's customs and adventure system. Kika and Mikan tell Kudo about how the guild accepts requests and receives a percentage of the earnings. Adventurers earn money by fighting monsters and get rewards by selling their parts. There is also a ranking given to adventurers, with higher-ranked ones getting better terms and treatment, with guilds competing for the services of high-ranking individuals. Kudo compares it to sports, where the stars all get big offers from different teams and get to choose who to play for. Mikan adds that some people short on money become mercenaries, and that monsters are sometimes hard to come by, causing Kudo to note that it is an unstable occupation. Mikan also mentions that, due to the current war, traversing the northern territories is difficult, and trade between countries is negatively impacted. Kudo then asks about items, and they explain that there are 5 categories. Things made from basic metal are normal. Items made from monster parts are solid. Stuff made with special materials is high-end. Then there are uniques, with only a handful of S-rank adventurers wielding them. Finally, legendary items are the Holy Maidens' hammers and staves. The Demon Lord then asks one last question about item shops. The two explain that the items there are mass-produced and not very effective. To defend oneself against level 4 or 5 magic, one needs uniques. Kudo thinks about the village of Rabbi, and since everything there is running smoothly, he decides he can leave it to Tahara and travel north. Upon hearing this, Kika instantly volunteers to accompany him, saying she will be useful as a B-rank adventurer. Kudo reasons that an experienced guide would be helpful, and reluctantly agrees. She adds that Mikan will also be going with them, causing her partner to groan, knowing he has no choice but to tag along. We get a bit more remarks between Kudo and Kika, then cut to the church, where Angel White's worry about Luna is reaching a tipping point. She can't bear the thought of Luna being a hostage, and uses her Omega staff to teleport to Luna's location to rescue her. She arrives at the village of Rabbi, but she is confused upon seeing the undergoing construction. Tahara sees Angel, and she assumes she is the magician they hired. He orders her to work at moving a supply of magic crystals, which she does not do. Luna arrives at the site, and is surprised to see her older sister working there. Angel wonders what is going on, and Luna explains that the village is currently under a monstrous operation. Her wording makes Angel misinterpret that the Demon Lord is perhaps preparing a dwelling for monsters. She is further distraught by Luna's unwillingness to leave, and gets even more distressed when she sees Tron, who clearly has demon blood. Tron is there to pick Luna up, but before leaving, Luna asks Kian and Momo to escort Angel to the baths. Believing this might be her last chance to persuade Luna to leave Kudo, she goes with them and starts exploring the bathhouse. She is amazed at the number of bathing options, and is surprised to see someone there. Angel sees Kudo at the baths. He acts cool and composed, but panics a bit on the inside, thinking he needs to be careful not to make her scream and risk being seen as a pervert. He wonders why she is there in the first place, but calmly states that she must be there for something important. He gives her a towel and tells her to join him. Both of them are a bit flustered, but hide it well. She asks him what his intentions for the kingdom are by deceiving Madam. He answers that Luna and Shrimpfree are both staying of their own free will. Not believing him, Angel moves closer. He tells her to lower herself into the bath to understand what the place is about. She does this, and is immediately relaxed. He explains that this helps people forget their everyday worries and invigorates their spirits. He then offers her a drink to further calm her down. She wonders if it has poison, but he answers that the only toxin in the kingdom are its leaders, who do not care for the suffering of the people and do nothing to help those in need. Angel accepts the drink, but then berates him for laughing at her and calling her hard-headed, while admitting that she has difficulty managing the kingdom alone. In an attempt to reassure her, Kudo gifts her an angel halo, noting that she is the only holy maiden able to reflect her title. After the bath, Kudo teleports them back to the capital's castle. Angel mistakes this magic for the same seraph power she used to go to Rabbi village. Confused that he supposedly used magic reserved for angels, she asks who he is. He answers that seeing something in person is better than having it explained. He tells her not to tell anyone about what happened today. Adding to her confusion, he then says that he is hoping to learn more about the seraph because he believes that he was called here by the deity, Ofun, as he remembers the shrine idol. Angel suddenly feels that she has put all the pieces of the puzzle together. She understands why Luna is so drawn to him despite her devotion to the cherub, why he can give people an angel's halo and use holy magic. She asks if he plans to oppose the seraph, and he says he simply wants to ask a few questions. He fixes the angel's halo, saying it looks good on her, causing her to blush before bidding her farewell. Alone, she thinks about the legend of Lucifer, a fallen angel and demon lord. She believes this is who Kudo is. The smitten maiden hugs the halo, promising to help him revert back to the angel he once was. That evening, Aku approaches Kudo and sits on his lap. He tells her that she should learn to keep her distance from men, but she says he is the only man she wants to be close to. He confirms that he is going to travel north the next day. This saddens Aku, who says she will be lonely. However, the demon lord assures her that with instant movement, he can go back any time, so it can hardly be called a trip at all. He also promises to bring her a souvenir, making her smile. Tron and Luna arrive, and the holy maiden is instantly jealous of seeing Aku on his lap. She asks why isn't her body enough for him. He tells her about his encounter with Angel, and Luna gets even more worried that he may have gotten his claws on her older sister as well. That evening, the demon lord lies in bed, but is unable to sleep with Luna, Aku, and Tron draped all over him. The next morning, he tells Yuka he is leaving her in charge of the hospital, and to keep doing what she can to build up their reputation and the village in Tahara's care. They can message him anytime, but assure him that he has nothing to worry about. He gives Tahara one final order, which is to kill anyone who intends to harm the village. He then departs in a carriage to the northern city of Rookie with Kika and Mikan. As they watch the demon lord depart, Tahara recalls his first meeting with the chief, thinking that if he had refused Kudo's invitation, he probably would have died. Yuka, on the other hand, hopes he returns soon. They arrive at Rookie, where the prison dungeon is, and Kudo notes that the city looks quite prosperous. Suddenly, they are greeted by a group of heroes called the White Tri-Stars, led by an overweight young man called the White Comet Hero, and Kudo is repulsed by the sight.